Very good. What I'm going to do is, while the rest of the cookies are being handed out, I'm going to introduce our newest board member, Lauren Vaccarello. And Lauren is the Vice President of Marketing, all digital marketing for Box up in the city. Yep. And just really happy to have her on board, and she's going to be doing the digital marketing module for us. And today she's going to tell you about digital marketing past and future.
Cool.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
You're already hooked up.
Do I need a clicker? Awesome.
Thank you.
So one thing that I learned about this clicker is it works from the parking lot. So we had a running joke that we were going to steal the clicker and start advancing people's slides and see if they can catch up. I don't think anyone's done that to me, but we'll find out. So hi everybody. Hopefully I will get you before the sugar coma hits, and then we'll bring Gary up and then see what happens. So I'm Lauren Vaccarello. So quick overview of the next 10 or 15 minutes of your life. I'll give you a quick about me, who I am, why I'm here. I think it's important before we're talking about the future to know where you are today and to know where you've come from. So I'll spend a couple of minutes talking about where I came from, where the industry came from, what's happening right now, and then I'm a very practical person, so things that are going to be useful for you today. Oh, this really does work from anywhere. So a little bit about me. So long story short, I started in digital marketing about 15 years ago. Very different world in digital marketing. Throughout the course of my career, I used to run digital at Salesforce, and digital at Salesforce was very, very different. This was 2009. Digital wasn't a thing at Salesforce. They didn't really use it. There was this misconception that we're selling to senior IT executives. They're not going to use the internet to do research, because who uses the internet? And then I ended up going to a company called AdRoll. It's a marketing technology company to build out global marketing. And now at Box, I lead a lot of functions in marketing, both sort of digital and a lot of your traditional functions, which I get a kick out of because I get to apply a lot of digital methodologies to really traditional functions like throwing a 8,000-person event. Super interesting for people who have small children that have trouble sleeping. I wrote 2 books. One is all about B2B online marketing, and one is about retargeting. So if you have small kids, these are perfect. So quick history lesson. So who can guess what year this is? So we're gonna go way back. This is, oh, not that old. So this is 2002. You can tell by the red leather pants. Fun fact, I had a pair of red leather pants in 2002. There's no pictures on the internet. It was pre-social media. So if you think about 2002, when you kind of go back to time, very different world than it is today, and it's important to anchor yourself in what the world looked like in 2002. Britney Spears hadn't shaved her head and gone crazy yet. She and Justin Timberlake were dating velour tracksuits, super in style. As were red leather pants. The Euro just came out. Eminem was a newer up-and-coming artist, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding, really popular movie. But this is how I remember 2002. So 2002, I was just getting started in digital marketing. And we all know a world right now where you want to go digital, all of your search is on Google, you jump on Facebook, and you start to delve into social media. In 2002, there was Google, but there was also Ask Jeeves and Lycos and Inktomi and Alta Vista and Yahoo and Overture, and then a handful of these small search engines. I remember, because I was also bartending, because there was no real money in this in 2002. When I started in digital in 2002, it's not a respectable career choice. This isn't something you tell your kids they should go do. This isn't something any of you would aspire to be in digital. Literally, my desk was in the hallway because I was the digital person. No one really cared. And I wasn't really doing it as a career choice. I needed health insurance. I was a bartender. Life was fine. Also, who you got to do digital marketing at the time was that bartender chick who seemed really smart and needed health insurance. There was pre-Obamacare as well. And I will never forget working at a bar and talking to someone that said, I just got this new job. It seems really good. good. I'm learning about digital, and I'm learning about Google and search engine optimization and paid search. And the person at the top bar said, you know, none of that really matters because I just use Dogpile, and none of the stuff that you do to make things rank works on Dogpile. It's totally different because Dogpile was a search engine, for anyone who actually remembers that. So 2002 was a very, very different world. So there's a few fundamental truths with what the world looked like in 2002. Like I said, digital, not a respectable job. This is the thing you probably fell into. Fun fact of a lot of where this started was what industries were getting into digital fastest. Also, not necessarily the most respectable industries. It was people selling drugs online. Honestly, it was the porn industry. It was casinos. This is where a lot of the innovation was starting. And if you think about that now, I can tell you the first job that I had online was working at an online dating company in 2002, before online dating was a socially acceptable thing. Also, why we won't find that on any social media profile for me, because 2002, working at an online dating site, not a thing you did. There's also no such thing as formal education. There's no class you can take. I had message boards, I had forums, there's people chatting online. That's how I learned how to do this. Everyone had nicks or nicknames, and that's what you knew. So you'd go to these events, and you'd say, well, I'm Lauren. Well, no, who are you really? And you'd say whatever your handle was, because that's how you knew each other. A really good point of context for everybody, so all spending online was $6 billion a year. Might sound like a lot of money. So let's think about where we are today. $72 billion was spent online last year. So 15 years ago, it was $6 billion. Now over $72 billion is spent online. The spend online has actually just overtaken what advertisers spend on TV. This is a monumental moment that online isn't what that slightly technical woman does who sits in the desk in the hallway. This is the most important thing that you do as part of your marketing budget. Really interesting fun fact for you. The number one way you'd spend money in 2002 online was search. Do you know what the number two biggest spend online was in 2002? Classified ads. Do you know how much money got spent on classified ads last year? Nothing. And the reason I tell you this is because what was the second most important thing in 2002 is completely irrelevant today. Also, really interesting that's happening right now, your mobile spend has officially outpaced your desktop. $35 billion was spent on mobile last year. Go back in time. The iPhone just came out 10 years ago. This wasn't even a concept in people's brains 10 years ago, that the money you're going to spend advertising on your phone, that thing you use to call people, is more important than what you spend on a desktop. Social media spend last year was over $16 billion. Social media didn't exist at that point in time. And the reason I'm telling you a lot of this, what does this all mean for you, why this is so important, why I get super excited about being in the marketing space and being in the digital spaces, it's still the Renaissance, and we get to be part of this right now. If you think back to what would it have been like to be in Venice when Da Vinci was painting, that's where we are right now, and it's hard to see it sometimes because we were sitting at the epicenter of it, but the rate of innovation, the rate of change, the rate that everything is happening is faster than ever before. I think back and I laugh about my beeper, actually, not my mobile phone. Who could afford a mobile phone in 2002? And I think about where we were then to where we are now and how much has happened in 15 years. The world is going to change in 5 years. How quickly companies become multi-billion-dollar companies and fail. How quickly MySpace was a thing to completely not a thing in any way, shape, or form. Where the world is going and this need to constantly change and evolve is more and more important. So I started to think about what are some trends that are happening today, and what are the things that I'm really excited about in the digital world. One of them is this explosion of digital technology. the way you used to buy advertising. So a long, long time ago, once I got a reputable job, and I worked, I have reputable jobs now. It's very funny that I'm very official and very corporate. And when I started at Salesforce and I was running digital there and I was telling someone about my background, they told me I shouldn't discuss it because you shouldn't discuss where you've come from. And I was like, I worked at an online trading company and in these 5 other industries. So what's super interesting right now is this explosion of digital technology. It's not just about how you call a bunch of people to buy ads. It is about everything new that is coming out, how you can better target, how you can better evolve. And something I would have never predicted is this rise of the mobile-first business. There are businesses now that are billion-dollar businesses that don't really have a website because they have an app on your phone. And it's not about getting people to your website and converting them. It's about getting them into your app and growing apps. And this concept of growth marketing, which I'm not going to lie, I made fun of a little bit because I'm skeptical and snarky as a reformed New Yorker. This concept of growth marketing, which is this intersection of digital and product. It's not just about, as a marketer, what to do to get someone to your website or to your product, is what do you do inside of your product to engage them, to get them to buy more, and it's how do you put them together. I'm in the B2B space. I love B2B. It's a lot harder of a sale. You have to work with a lot of salespeople. There's no salespeople here. Sorry. You have to work with a lot of salespeople, which is a challenge as a marketer, but I really enjoy it. And there's the people who work at Box don't tell Tom that. So there's this whole thing of account-based marketing. So much of digital started to be about how do I scale, how do I grow, how do I get as many people as humanly possible to this website, to go through this conversion funnel, to buy my product, to close. Account-based marketing is totally different. It's how do I define who the audience is up front to get the exact person that matters, figure out how to get in front of the exact person that matters at the time that they're thinking about buying, before they're thinking about our product, and move them through the funnel. So you have these breadth strategies online, and then you have these super deep strategies. There's this idea of predictive analytics. How do you take these different signals of what people are doing on the internet? How do you compare that to your average user today? And how do you start to predict what your next customer is, who your next customer could be before they're starting to think? There's this whole rise of data science and this field of data science. It's not Mad Men anymore. It's these data nerds who are coming in. I'm building new targeting strategies for post-sales nurture programs right now. I have to check with my data science team to help me build segments. Data scientists and marketing functions weren't real even a few years ago. I geek out on social. I was a very early adopter of social. I'll admit I completely don't understand Snapchat. There'll be someone else that'll be teaching you about that in this because I'm not that person. Thankfully with Gary. But never underestimate where social is going. Quick things on where the world is going is technology and platforms are growing really fast, are evolving really, really fast. The good things to always anchor on is the importance of messaging and strategy and segmentation. Your basic marketing principles are becoming more and more important again. There's this interesting dichotomy between the account-based marketing, that highly targeted, and that high scale, and the world is still figuring out who does what when. There's not this one-size-fits-all formula, which is super, super fun. And this increase in AI and machine learning is starting to accelerate the rate of growth as a digital marketing function, but also what all of us need to do to be competitive, to have our businesses be competitive. So what does this all mean? And major takeaways and things you need to know. Oh, hang on, if I can use a computer. There we go. Digital, not technical. Most important thing, and the thing that I need to anchor on all the time, is never stop learning. These skills you have yesterday might not be relevant today. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I was a hell of an SEO. I'm not the expert on this anymore. There's people that are in the weeds and are smarter on this. even though I was technically the expert on this 10 years ago. Network as much as you can. I have learned more from a bar at an event than I have learned from a conference. Network, learn from your peers. Your peers are probably doing some really cool stuff, and you are too, and how you put those together. Things that will never go out of style, that are increasingly important now, are your analytical skills. Hone your analytical skills as much as possible and hone your communication skills. If you can combine analytical and communications, it doesn't matter where the world evolves to. These skills are completely transferable. The most important thing I will leave you all with is, if all else fails, go back to basics. The thing that I have always said to everyone that has worked for me, and I'm going to say I'm the one who invented this phrase, is if you don't know what you should be doing, if you don't know how you should track success, if you don't know where to go, always think about, well, what do I need to do that I can drive a beer with? If I'm in e-commerce, how do I increase sales? If I'm in the B2B side, how do I increase ARR? So always think about what are your core marketing basics, and at the end of your day, whatever your goals are, should be something you can buy a beer with. So thank you very much. I'm Lauren. And